So now let's get practical. What can you do to start developing a growth mindset for yourself? Because again, it's really natural, and we really want to emphasize it's really natural to have a fixed mindset about things. Things are hard, and when they get hard, it's frustrating, and sometimes we want to quit. That's okay to feel like that. Like it absolutely is. And it's okay that sometimes we're not going to have a growth mindset. We're going to kind of get a little bit fixed. You're going to be working on a rubric in a little bit that kind of emphasizes those different ways you can react to different situations. But we're going to start out with kind of the first step to developing a growth mindset is being able to accept feedback and criticism, okay? Which is really difficult, right? Like a lot of times we get feedback on our skills or our abilities or something like that. And if we have a fixed mindset, right, we're likely to be like, oh, if that's about me, it's personal, I'm dumb, there's something wrong with me, right? Having a growth mindset is accepting that feedback and kind of growing from it. So let's walk through these different pieces, right? So the first part of accepting feedback and criticism, right? Again, this is when someone's telling you, giving you feedback on your skills. Some of it's positive, right? That might be saying, hey, you're really good at this thing, but it's also critical, right? It's saying sometimes, hey, but you're not so good at this, you need to work on this thing, okay? So the first thing we need to do is listen to understand when others give you feedback, right? We have a tendency when we start getting feedback that we don't want to hear, that's maybe talking about our skills, we take it personally, and we'll kind of shut down and not listen, right? Then we'll start listening to have a response. We'll start listening to get defensive and respond to it instead of really listening and understanding where the person's coming from and what they're saying. So that first step is really getting present and listening to what they're really saying, because you can't work off of that feedback if you're not paying the right kind of attention. Another piece about this is asking for help, support, and feedback when you are struggling. If I'm not doing something very well, I need help. So I'm going to ask people for some help, some support. And part of helping and supporting is not doing it for you, right? That's not going to help you grow, right? It's getting feedback. So it's asking your teachers, if you're struggling in academics, hey, can you please help me with this? What's some feedback? What could I grow on, right? It's asking your friends, right? If there's a sport you're working on, it's asking your coach. If you don't ask for that feedback, you don't ask for what you're not doing so well and what you can do to fix that, you're not going to be able to grow. You're just going to get stuck. And then that gets really frustrating and probably will make you want to quit. Right? It's thanking others for feedback and not taking it personally. Again, when people are giving you feedback, it's a way to grow. You should take every opportunity for feedback as a way to grow, right? If someone is taking that time, they're actually trying to help you get better, and that's a cool thing. So you should be thanking for it. And that's a good practice to start thinking, okay, this person is giving me this feedback because they actually want to help me. Because lazy people that don't care, they're not going to give you feedback. They're going to just say, yeah, whatever, you're doing fine. Right? And then you're not going to get any better, and those people aren't caring about you. Feedback is a sort of indicator of caring, honestly. So remember that and thank people for it. And then finally, follow up by specifically applying the feedback by practicing the skills mentioned, right? So if someone gives you feedback, hey, I noticed you're struggling in this, here's something you can try, or here's something you can practice to get better at that, right? You need to actually practice that and try to get better at that. Right? It's not just being like, oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate the feedback. If you don't do anything, you're not going to grow. So it's really helpful. If someone's giving you feedback, take advantage and act on that. Okay? So again, next step, you're going to be working through a rubric that's going to be helping you kind of decide what is a growth mindset, fixed mindset way to respond to certain situations, especially focusing on this idea of accepting feedback. All right. So good luck with that. Here we go.